Hi, this is Danny Marrow, and I want to speak briefly on the subject of Hugo Chavez, the dictator of Venezuela, President Barack Obama of the United States, and Fidel Castro, the dictator of Cuba. I think that it goes without saying that anybody on planet Earth knows that Hugo Chavez is a socialist, Marxist dictator, and that Fidel Castro is the same, a socialist, Marxist dictator. They have nationalized all the banks in both their countries. They've nationalized most of the manufacturing that would go on in both of their countries. And they are now, in the case of Hugo Chavez, is going to nationalize the oil company of Venezuela. And when we use the term national, what does it mean? It means that the government owns and operates everything. There is no free capitalist system. There is no democracy. One man or woman, however the case may be, has the final say-so on everything that is done in the country. When Barack Obama was running for president of the United States, he went out to Detroit and the cities that manufacture automobiles in the United States, and he made a lot of promises about how he was going to help the failing auto industry, and he was going to help the workers, and he did photo ops speaking to the working man in these plants and so forth and so on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you. Aren't you glad that you voted for Barack Obama when 1,500 car agencies are going out of business, and plus their shareholders are going to lose their money, and plus the people that work for those car agencies are out of business? Aren't you glad you voted for Barack Obama when now people will take a very long time before they will buy a GM product or a Chrysler product or a GM product? If anyone that's in the manufacturing business thinks that the American public is going to rally and buy automobiles now after these two major corporations have gone broke because they couldn't sell their products, they need to go see a psychiatrist. It's not going to happen. Anyone that buys a General Motors product, Chrysler product, now is buying a rotten apple in the bottom of the barrel. They couldn't sell the product. Now the suppliers for various parts of these automobiles, they're also going out of business, and the shareholders in those companies are losing their money that they invested, and they've been offered, I think it's 75 cents on the dollar. So, where do we stand? In the manufacturing area alone, we have hundreds of thousands of people that are now out of work. People who will lose their houses because they can't make payments. Maybe the irony may be that they'll even lose their automobiles because they can't make payments on them either. Their children can't go to college because they no longer have the funds to pay for them to go to college. Aren't you glad that you voted for Barack Obama, union leaders, union members, and automobile dealers? I'm sure that you are patting yourself on the back now and rejoicing, one with the other, of what a great president he's made for you in particular. And he's going to run again. I would suspect, since you're loyal to the Marxist Democratic Party in the United States, I call it the Democratic Marxist Party, and I'm sure that you're going to vote for him again. Aren't you? You ought to be happy with the decisions he's made so far. He's put you and your family out of a job. He's put the companies you work for out of business, and he's put some of the people that in the streets. So you ought to vote for him again. You got exactly what you deserved. The other thing is this, that now he's working on getting a national health system that everybody's going to be able to have insurance and go to the hospital, and the government's going to take care of it. Of course, the question remains is, who's going to pay for it? Is Mr. Obama going to pay for it? I doubt it. Is Hillary Clinton going to pay for it? I doubt it. Is any of the people that are Democrats in Congress going to pay for it? I doubt it. The only thing they're going to pay for is themselves, what they can get out of it for themselves, and not for the general American public. By the way, I don't know how many of you union members and car dealership owners who no longer own a car dealership, and I don't know how many of you people that had shares in the collapsed banks and lost your shares in the banks and lost your shares in the General Motors and Chrysler Corporation and offered to pay you 75 cents on the dollar. Were you able to fly your children to France for their birthday? Mr. Obama did. His daughter turned 8 years old, and he flew Michelle and the two little girls to France. The question is, well, I don't know if he did that on tax money or out of his own pocket, but I doubt if he did it out of his own pocket. That wouldn't be a Marxist, would it? That might be a responsible U.S. citizen that would pay out of their own pocket, but not the President of the United States. Everyone must bow down to he and his family. Whatever they want, they get at the taxpayer's expense. Well, this Christmas, which is only 6 months away, when you don't have any money to buy presents for your family this Christmas, remember, you voted for Barack Obama, and he'll have presents this Christmas, and he'll give a great auditory speech which will mean nothing, and his daughters will have a nice Christmas, and your daughters didn't get to fly to France, or your sons, but his did, and he is the workers in the unions and their children, they're going to have a bleak Christmas. The car dealers who went out of business, they're going to have a bleak Christmas. So I thought that I would do this little audio video to say that Hugo Chaves, who is an avowed communist and socialist dictator, and Fidel Castro, who is an avowed communist and socialist and dictator, Mr. Chaves made the comment that Barack Obama was nationalizing banks and manufacturing faster than he and Fidel Castro could together. So, union leaders, union members, homeless people who've lost their homes, why don't you write Mr. Obama and tell him, thank you. You deserved to do that. He's your president, and he's going to run for president again, and you voted for him, and you got exactly what you voted for. Higher taxes, joblessness, and you don't have a house anymore. Thank you very much.